Good morning, everyone. Today is the demo on Python programming. I wanted to introduce what is Python and what are the syllabus which we are going to cover in the next 35 to 40 classes. Before getting into Python programming, as a student of programming, okay, you should know some basic concepts of what is programming and what are the steps involved in programming. Okay, please. Now, as we already know that a program is nothing but, for example, let us consider this as a program. It consisting of some set of instructions. Every line which I'm drawing is an instruction. Okay. Now, shall I call this as program? A program consisting of all these are called as a set of instructions. Okay, now set of instructions. Now, can you tell me why I will write this set of instructions? These set of instructions will be used. These set of instructions are used to execute a program. Okay, execute a computation. Okay, any set of instructions will do some sort of computation. Okay, you can also call as it will do some sort any operation. Okay, it will do some operation. We will also call this functions, and which is going to produce an output. Okay, remember once again carefully, a program is a set of instructions. A program is a set of instructions. These set of instructions will be executed to perform a computation. You can also call it as operation. Once we perform some set of operations, it is going to produce an output. This is what every student must know. Shall I go ahead now? Here, a program is a set of instructions that specifies how to perform a computation. We are going to tell how we are going to perform an operation or a computation. Now, it will be written in a computer understands. Generally speaking, computers can understand only zeros and ones. Computers can understand only zeros and ones. This we will call it as a binary format. Okay. This kind of language is called as machine language. Computers can understand only zeros and ones. That is called as machine language. Okay. Earlier, mostly in engineering, you are going to find some languages like 8086, 8085. These are the things, that's the best examples for machine languages. Nowadays, all the programming languages, even though you are writing in a set of English sentences and English word, they will be converted our sentences into machine understandable format. For that, we are using some sort of compilers. Okay, compilers and interpreters. Very, very important. Remember carefully. Now, we are going to write a program in either Python, either I may use Python programming, or I may use C programming, or I may use C++, or I may use Java. Okay, now my instructions needs to be translated or converted into machine understandable format. As we already knows that machine understands only zeros and one. This is called as binary. Okay, so in order to understand my program to the machine, we are going to use a compiler. Either we will use compiler or we will use interpreter. Now, what is the meaning of compiler? Compiler compiles the entire program and gives the output. Okay, can you please respond? Compiler, what the compiler will do? Execute the entire program at once. Okay, executes entire program at only once and gives output. Whereas what the interpreter will do? Interpreter mostly statement by statement or a block of statements will be executed and produces output. That is called as it produces intermediate output, which produces intermediate output. Can you, is it okay till now? Sheikh Ibrahim, is it clear? Can you please respond?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just now I have discussed. Yeah, please. Any queries?
No, tell me, sir. No.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please. Now. What we discussed is a computer is a set of instructions. When we execute these set of instructions, we will do some sort of computation. Okay, we will do a sort of computation. Okay, this computation is going to produce an outcome. This computation is produces an output. Okay, na? Now that's what I have discussed. Now, a computation might be a mathematical expression for solving a set of equations, finding the roots of polynomial. I may write some sort of equation like a equal to b plus c. This is a simple mathematical equation. Okay, a computation may be a mathematical, or a computation may be a symbolic computation. That means, for example, I will open a notepad and I will search and replace a text. One important thing we must remember is programming is a way of thinking. Okay, programming is a way of thinking. For example, if I want to do a program, okay, now every programmer, if they before writing a program, they should do this process. It is program is a way of thinking. That means the most important skill of a computer programmer is problem solving. Okay, na? We are going to write a program to solve a specific problem. Okay, na? We are going to write a program to solve a specific problem. Now, just now what I discussed is a programming is a way of thinking. Okay. Now, every computer scientists are need to solve the problems. Now, in order to solve the problems, that means it is the ability of the programmer to formulate a problem and think creatively about the solutions and express the solutions clearly and accurately. This is the basic skill of problem solving. Now, in order to solve the problems, what are the things the programmer needs? First, he should identify or define a problem. Is it okay? This is the first and foremost thing. Okay, the first and foremost thing what we need is, in order to we need to identify or we need to define a problem. Okay, the problem defines the boundary of a solution. Okay, now once we have a problem in our hand, so then we should go for analysis. Okay, analyze the problem in terms of what are the inputs I need and what are the outputs I'm expecting from the problem. Okay, now for example, let us take this as a program. As I already told you, that program is a set of instructions. Okay, na? I need to give some sort of inputs. Okay, I need to give some sort of inputs to the program. Okay, na? And I'm going to expect some sort of output. I need to expect some sort of output. In between, in order to provide computation, we will use mostly formulas. Okay, we may use some constants, we may use some sort of conditions, we may use conditions, we may use loops, we may use files, we may use some sort of data structures. Okay, all these things I'm going to discuss in today's session, please. Okay, first of all, we have to define a problem. Then we should think what are the inputs for the problem and what we are expecting as an output. Okay, from that, apart from that, we should also say what are the data types are required, what are the variables and constants are required to solve the problem. Okay, na? That every student must know what data we are taking as input and what will be the outcome of the problem. Then we should discuss about what are the conditions we need to write to solve the problems and what are the loops and what are the files and what are the data structures which we need to solve the problem. Is it okay? Then based on that, we need to design a solution. Based on that, we need to design a solution. Then in order to design the solution, we need a programming language. Okay, we are going to implement the solution using either C language or CPP or Java or .NET or Python. It depending upon the customer perspective, we may use any programming language to implement the solution. Once we implemented the solution, we have to evaluate it thoroughly. We have to test it. Once it successfully tests, then we will release this document to the customer. Is it okay? Now, every student must understand the 5 points to provide a solution for any problem. The first one is defining the problem. Then we should identify how to analyze the problem in terms of what are the inputs are needed, what are the outputs are needed, and what are the data structures, what are the conditions and loops that are necessary to implement the problem. Based on that, I should design my solution. Okay, now once my designing the solution is also called as algorithm. Okay, what is the meaning of algorithm? Algorithm means a set of steps. Algorithm means set of steps in simple English language. Okay, a set of steps in simple English language. Sometimes we may also use flowchart. Sometimes we may also use flowchart. Sometimes we may also use algorithm. Okay, na? Sometimes we may write the set of steps. I will call it as algorithm. Once if I write the algorithm, then I will try to implement the algorithm by using any programming language like C, CPP, Java, depending upon the problem, and we are going to use the program coding. Now we are going to test the problem thoroughly. Is it okay? Now in the next 40 days, every student must remember these are the 5 points that we are going to use regularly. Okay, please. Now every program needs some set of components. As I already told you, first one is inputs, get the data from the keyboard, or get the data from the file, or get the data from secondary devices. Okay, then we are going to produce, every program should produce an outcome that is also called as output. That output I will display on the screen, or I will send the data to a file, or I will store the data for further purpose in mostly hard drives or secondary drives. Now, third one is, okay, this is input and this is output. Input. In between input and output, as a programmer, you should write some computations. Okay, here we are going to write some sort of computations. Okay. For these computations, we will use some sort of mathematics. Perform basic mathematical operations such as mostly addition, subtraction, division, whatever it may be the operations I will use. The inputs will be processed or converted or computed. Then I'm going to provide some sort of outputs. Okay. In order to do that, I need some sort of conditional statements, and I need some sort of loopings or repetition statements. Okay. Now, any queries in this? Can you please respond? Ibrahim, Rajendra Reddy, can you please respond?
No, sir.
Yeah, please. Shall I continue? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The session, yes, the session must be interactive, and every student must have two capabilities. The first capability is how to solve the problem. Okay, how to solve the problem, and another capability is debugging. That means identifying the errors in the program. If you have the both problem solving skills and debugging skills, you are going to get jobs very soon. Okay, now clear? Now, for example, if I write some sort of statements, if I compile it or if I interpret it, I will get some sort of errors. Those errors are also called as bugs. Now, if you are a good programmer, you can easily, by looking at the code, you can easily see that in which line you are going to find an error. The process of tracking the errors and the process of correcting the errors is called as debugging. This is the most relevant feature of a programmer. A programmer must have how to identify the errors which are occurring and how to correct them. So what I will do my students is they need to have a notebook. From the front part, they are going to take the notes. Kindly use this right side part from the notebook, use for errors. For example, if a programming language is coming, it is giving some error A. Okay. Now, if you know how to solve this problem A, then you note down in this notebook. Whenever you get the same error, you are going to apply the same technique. Is it okay? The process of tracking the error and correcting the error is called as debugging. Okay, now every program may have some sort of syntax error or runtime errors. Okay, now this is the part I will discuss after a few days. Okay, so now the person who is looking at this figure, he is called as Guido van Rossum. He is the inventor of Python. Okay, before getting into Python, first we should also remember the person who invented this language. Okay, now earlier Python, we have the languages such as C language, C++, Java, .NET. Okay, I am going to discuss about the comparison of these languages in a few minutes. Now I will tell you why we are preferring Python only, other than C, C++, Java, and .NET languages. So first few minutes, I will discuss about the basic features of Python. Then I will compare the languages. Okay, why I'm preferring Python rather than C, why I'm preferring Python rather than Java, with beautiful examples. Is it okay? Now, first and foremost point is Python is very simple to learn and very easy to apply. Okay, mostly if you don't know any programming language also, I will make you to do programming in just 40 days. Just 40 days. Same thing if you take C language, it will take around 2 to 3 months. If you take Java, full Java, it will take nearly around 3 to 6 months. Whereas Python, you can learn and easily apply within just 30 to 40 days. Okay, and it is called as beginner's language. If you don't know any computer language, you can start your learning with Python programming language. Okay, it is very simple and clean, and which has very simple clear syntax. How we are speaking in English, how I'm speaking with you, a simple English word like that, we will write the programming in Python. Okay, which has very few keywords. A keyword is a word which has a special meaning in Python. Okay, we have very few keywords in Python. Okay, and which needs a less training. Okay, now second point is it is a general purpose and high level programming language. What is the meaning of general purpose? I can use Python for building any kind of applications where I'm using Java, and it is also called as high level language like C, C++, COBOL, Java, .NET, whatever may the languages, all the languages features the Python consisting of. Is it okay? And another point is portable. Now here I will discuss about 2 to 3 minutes. This is the most important interview question. Okay. Now if you permit me, I will discuss by comparing 3 to 4 languages. Okay, please. Now first let me compare C language. C language. Now if you write a C language, you are going to write a program with the program name, some xxx program.c is an extension. Now here if I want to compile this program, I will compile it. Once if I compile my C program, what I will get file name dot executable file dot executable. For example, if I compile the program in Windows, I can execute the program only in Windows. If I compile my program in Linux, I can execute only in Linux. If I compile my program in Mac, I can execute my program only in because here it is called as a machine dependent language. C is a machine dependent. Okay, whereas .cpp also do the same thing. .cpp means C programming. Okay, C++ language. Both C and C++, whenever you compile the program, directly you are going to get the executable file. Okay, this executable file can be executed only in the current operating system only. Okay, that means they don't have the concept of portability. What is the meaning of portability? Compiling will be done in one operating system and executing will be done in another operating system. This process is called as portable. Okay, is it clear for everyone? Now shall I discuss an example with the .java? No. Whereas if you take Java, which is both a combination of two things, compile, it has the features of both compile and interpreter. Okay, now what is the meaning of compiler? Compiler means if I have some set of instructions, if I call it as program, I will execute all the set of instructions at once. Then I will get output. Okay, that means I will execute entire program at once. That is the process of compiler. Okay, then I will get the output. Whereas interpreter means every statement I can get output. Okay, Python is a interpreted language. Now, for example, if I write a programming in .java, which has a compiler as well as interpreter. Compiler will give intermediate code byte code, also called as a .class file. Now, this .class file, this is for compilation. Now, this .class file, I will use interpretation, then only I will get a executable file. That means I can compile in Windows and I can execute either in Linux or Mac. That I can do. Okay, this is called as architectural neutral. Architectural neutral, also called as a platform independent. Platform independent. Okay, is it okay for everyone? Why Java is called as both compile and interpret language? Whenever I compile the program, which is not going to get the executable file, it is going to get the intermediate code, also called as .class file. I can use this .class file in another operating system. I can execute it. Is it okay? So I will call Java as both compiler and interpreter, whereas Python is a interpreter language. Okay, I can move my program from one operating system to another operating system. Highly portable, run almost anywhere. I can run in Windows, I can run in Linux, I can run in Mac operating system. Is it okay about portability? Can you please respond?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Next one is object oriented. Nowadays, most of the new languages which are coming into the market, all these are consisting of object oriented. Now, if you ask me what are the object oriented languages, C++ is a, it is not a full, or it is a partially object oriented language. Then Java, .NET and Python are fully object oriented languages. Python is also object oriented. If you ask me what is an object oriented language, okay, if a language satisfies the principles of like classes, objects, then inheritance, then polymorphism, then abstraction. These are abstraction and encapsulation. These are the basic features. I will discuss these concepts once we enter into object oriented. Okay, now please. Now, second one is I told that Python is an interpreted language. Most important point is it has a large standard libraries. Okay, Python is a language which has a beautiful hundreds and 1,000+ standard libraries. If I want to perform any job, every job I can implement without writing a large code. Simply I have so many built-in functions. I have some built-in functions and I have libraries. Using these libraries, I can implement any of my job very easily. Okay, na? Hello, can you please respond? Now, let me discuss with a simple example about this. Okay, na? Now, I have a 1,000 lines, either CPP program or Java program. Just listen carefully, please. This is the most important concept. I have 1,000 lines of code, LOC. In programming, we will call the program every instructions as lines of code. Okay, now this is a metric. For example, I have 1,000 lines of code. Actually, I am using a Python. I'm using Python. Actually, you no need to convert this entire CPP into Java. No need to convert. Not required. Not required. By writing my Python program, I can call CPP code. I can call my Java code. There are some specific libraries are available. Okay. For example, if I want to use my Python, I have a language called Python. That means from my Python, I can execute a C language code or C++ code. I have one more library called a Jython. From my Python program, I can execute any of my Java code. Is it okay? That means no need to convert this 1,000 or 10,000 lines of code. No need to convert this 1,000 or 10,000 lines of code using Python. So you are reducing your effort. You are reducing your effort with Python. Will you agree? Any queries in this point? I can extend any of my program. I can extend any of my program using Python. Okay, designed to be extensible using CC, allowing access to many languages. Using my Python program, I can access any programming language which is there in the world. Okay, the Python is the only language which can access. Please, any query, Andy? Please.
Sorry, can you give me one example? How do you call a Java program from Python?
There is a library now. Initially today I am introducing the libraries. Okay, in the case of action, I am going to demonstrate programs also. Is it okay? Today just I am giving the features. While giving features, I cannot implement it. I will showcase in case studies. We will have around 3 to 4 demos. This is not the single demo. We are going to conduct 3 to 4 demos consecutively. In one of the demo, I'll show you. Okay, now can you please respond?
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, it's okay. Fine. Yeah.
Today I'm simply introducing the features. Okay, now please. Mostly
That's
in the
fine.
course
That's
of
fine. Yeah.
in the course of action, I will take one case study and I will execute my Python program to either C++ or Java. Okay, now please. Now Python is a GUI programming. Like in Java, we have swings, applets, and AWT. Swings, applets, and AWT, graphical user interface programming. Like that, in Python also I can write GUI based program using a library called TCLTK. TCLTK is a library. By using this library, I can create icons and I can use graphical user interface programming. Is it okay? Now another point is which supports databases. Now here I want to discuss for 2 minutes, please. Now by using Python, I can connect my program to either Oracle or MySQL or SQL Server. Okay, that means or you name any database by providing some sort of driver applications. My Python program will be connected to any database, and I can do select operation, I can do insert operation, I can do update and delete operations. Okay, by using my Python, I can connect to any database. This is another advantage with the Python programming language. And another point is dynamically typed language. If you permit me, I will discuss this point for 2 to 3 minutes. This is the most important interview question in Python. Shall I go? For example, if I take a C language, how the dynamical type will be. Now, if I want to declare any variable, we need a data type space variable name is equal to in optional value. This is the code which we are going to use, value. Now let me discuss with a simple example. Int a equal to 100. Here 100 is called as value, a is called as variable, and int is called as a data type. Okay, now data type means it is going to store that kind of data. Is it okay? Now in C language, we can also storage location. Storage location tells you where exactly the variable is storing in the memory. Is it okay? Whereas in Python, no need to specify the storage location, no need to specify the data type. For example, I can do like this, a equal to 100. I know that 100 is an integer. I'm going to store it in a variable called as a. That means in the memory, there is a variable a will be created and it stores a value 100. That means in Python, it is a dynamically typed language. Depending upon the, for example, if I introduce 100.50, this is called as a float value. Depending upon the float, the variable a will be converted integer to float. Is it okay? Now, in other languages like C, C++, Java, .NET, you should specify the storage location. You should also specify the data types. Most of the languages, you have to specify the data type. Whereas in Python, whatever the value you are using, Depending upon that, the variable will be created in that specific data type within the memory. It will be done by itself. Is it okay? Now, other basic features of Python programming is, for example, if you take C, C++, all languages has to end with semicolon. Okay, every programming language, every statement will end with a semicolon. Whereas in Python, no need to use any semicolon, just white spaces. White spaces means no need to specify anything, and variables do not need declarations. Just now I had discussed it, and Python supports high-level data types, and it is the first language used in many universities as well as in schools. Earlier, we used to teach C language in universities, and most important thing is I wanted to spend 5 minutes about the next 2 points, and they are very important for interview purpose. The first and foremost point is open source. Now, let me discuss about 2 things. Okay, normally the software will be divided into proprietary software, proprietary, and open source. Can you name any software? Proprietary software? Is it Microsoft Office, Windows? Can I call them as proprietary softwares? Can you please respond? Hello? Can you please respond to me? Please. The sessions must be interactive only, please. Now, if you go for MS Office or if you go for MS Word, we will buy 1 license or 2 license from that. Now it has a copyright protection. Can you please tell me? Okay, copyright protection. That software will work only for 1 client or 2 clients. Okay, na? Either 1 clients or 2 clients. For example, if I buy license for 100 clients, I can use the software for 100 clients. Is it okay? Because it has a copyright protected. Now, apart from proprietary, you also have some sort of softwares called open source. Also, sometimes they're also called as free softwares. Okay, like Ubuntu. You will call them as Linux. Instead of MS Office, we will use the LibreOffice, L-I-B-R-E, LibreOffice, also called as OpenOffice. These softwares are free. No need to pay even one rupee also. No need to pay even 1 rupee. Okay, I can download the softwares for freely, and I can use them. I can distribute them. Can I distribute MS Office to one of my friend? Can I distribute my Windows operating system to one of my friend? It is not possible because they have the protection called copyright. Now you can ask me one question, sir, what kind of copyright protection this open source has? It is called as copyleft. Copyleft. Why I'm stressing? Because Python is a open source. It can be downloaded from a website called python.org. Okay, which is available in 2 versions, in 2.x version and 3.x version. This is the current version. 3.10 is the current version of Python. Is it okay? Any queries in this point? Can you please respond? If not, I will go to another point called as productivity. I'll discuss about 2 to 3 minutes about this. This is the most important topic, please. Yeah. Final point of feature is productivity. For example, if I take a C, Java, Python. Okay. Same program, if C language takes mostly maybe 6 to 8 lines. 6 to 8 lines. Mostly Java may also take 6 lines. Python, the same code I can write either 2 lines or 3 LOC. That's it. Look at here. I can, by using Python, I can reduce the development time because the code is 2 to 10 times shorter than C, C++, and Java. Most of my logic I can use by using some libraries and by using some modules, by using some built-in functions. Everything, most of the code, whichever you want to develop, most of the code is available in the form of built-in functions. What is the meaning of built-in function? Python people, they have written a function to achieve the job. You can concentrate only on your application development rather than building the basic functions. Is it okay? The most important point is the code is going to be reduced 2 to 10 times shorter than C, C++, and Java. Any queries in this features of Python? Can you please respond? Yeah. If there are no more queries, shall I continue? Now you can ask one question: what is the demand for Python in the market right now? Okay. Now, Python can be used for web development. Python can be used for web development by using libraries such as Flask and Django. These are the most useful and powerful libraries. By using Flask, I can implement small web applications. By using Django, we can develop large web applications. Is it okay? And by using Python, I can implement applications with the help of for implementing machine learning, data science, and artificial intelligence applications. I can do very easily. Okay. And another point is data science is also very important concept. If I know Python, I can implement any kind of data science application very easily. Now another important point is it has the supports of, because it is free and open source software. Because free or open source software, everyone can contribute to the Python. I can contribute by writing my own module, and you can write your own module by contributing. Because it is free and open source software, anyone can contribute, because it has hundreds and thousands of free libraries and frameworks to implement any kind of application. Nowadays, one simple component which is ruling the world top, RUP, robotic automation process. We'll call it as RAP. Have you heard about it? Robotic automation process. That means in the industry of automation, most of the cases they are using Python scripts for automating so many hardware devices. And Python is a multi-purpose language which can be, right now I'm also using this Python for IoT applications also. Earlier we used to do C language, now we are using Python language for automation purpose, Python language for IoT kind of applications. Is it okay? And most simple thing is it is very simple to learn and easy to apply. Clear? Can you please respond to me? Now why I'm stressing Python? Now, according to IEEE Spectrum list top 21 top languages in 2021, Python has topped the, by comparing C, Java, C++, C Sharp, R, and other languages. Okay. Now, according to KD Nuggets, KD Nuggets is one of the beautiful website for machine learning and artificial intelligence. According to that also, the top most Python programming language is Python. So, I will feel Python is the next generation language. Clear? So, now you can ask one question, sir, if you want to execute Python programming, what are the systems, what are the coding environments we have? Okay, we have the basic coding environment, which I'm going to use for the next 40 days is Anaconda. Okay, if I install Anaconda in my machine, I will get so many IDEs. What is the meaning of IDE? IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, where I can write a code, okay, where I can execute the program, and where I can see the outputs. Everything I can see within a single screen. Okay, that can be done only with IDE, stands for Integrated Development Environment. If I install Anaconda, I'm going to get 3 IDEs. First one is Jupyter Notebooks. This I will discuss with a simple example. Then I am going to get IPython. Like this, there are other Pythons. There are other 2 to 3 IDs are also available with this Anaconda. You have one more thing called as Canopy IDE, and another title will be, which will be used by the students, is PyCharm. Okay. Now, if you permit me, I will showcase one simple example. Okay, please. Now I will demonstrate a simple comparison, what is the difference between C language, Java, and a simple example. If I want to print anything onto the, if I want to print hello onto the screen in Python, simply I will use a simple built-in function called print function. That's it. Print whatever I wanted to display. Simply I will give either in the single quotes or I will give it in the double quotes. For example, if I want to do the same thing in C language, I should include a library. Then I should write a main function, open brackets and close bracket. Then here I should use a function called printf. Same thing if you want to write it in Java. Java is a pure object oriented language, so everything should be in classes. Okay, so whatever the code, even though I wanted to print hello, I should write a class, and if I want to write code, I should write a main function. For that I will write psvm string arrays system.out.println. This much code you should write. This is the simple comparison. This is the simple comparison how to display simple message onto the screen. Is it okay? Now, if I want to declare a variables in C language, look at here. This is the data type. Integer is a data type which is used to store numbers, and x is a variable, 3 is a value. The same thing in Python. How I am doing? Simply x equal to 3. That's it. No need to specify the data types. Is it okay? Now, for example, if you take a small loop is a repeated statements. For example, if I want to execute the same statement repeatedly for 10 times, I will use a loop called for. Okay, this much statement I should write in Python. Sorry, in C language. Same code, this 5 lines of code I can write in 2 lines in Python. Is it okay? I can give hundreds of examples for the comparison between C, C++, and Java, but our primary language is Python. If you permit me, if you have any questions, you can raise, please. It is my humble request. If you have any questions, you can ask at any moment, please. Can you please respond? Hello? Any questions? Now, actually speaking, next 5 minutes, I'll spend it on what is the syllabus I'm going to cover in the next 35 to 40 classes. Okay, I'm going to divide my syllabus into 4 parts. First one is core Python. Okay, I have divided my syllabus into 21 chapters. Okay, now I have divided. Yeah, what is the difference between IDE and compiler? Yes, very good question. Please, just a minute. I'll explain first. Yeah, very good question. First, let me explain that question. Compiler. Now, a compiler is a translator. A compiler is a translator. Okay, which will take input as a program, a set of instructions, and which will give output after completing execution of all statements. Okay, normally for example, in Python there is a software called python.org, and let me showcase with IDL. Okay. The window which I'm going to show you, that is called as a Python compiler. Now, just a minute, it is coming up. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, the thing which you are seeing here, this is called as compiler. Here, print of hello to first Python program. Okay, single quotes and close it. Execute this. Now here, this is called as normal Python compiler. This is called as idle shell. Okay, 3.9.5 is the version of my Python. Is it okay? Now, in the same time, I'm going to show you one screen. Now, this is a program. Okay, I told you, Jupyter is one such compiler which IDE, integrated development environment. Here I can write the code, and here I can take the input. For example, maybe that 30. Okay, if I give a temperature, I think input will be given here. Input I can take it here, and for example, let us display the same thing. Hello, print hello Python. Here I can write the code in one place, I can execute, and I can show the output, and I can also do some sort of documentation. Okay, I can also download my program, I can convert my program into any format, to PDF, to HTML, anything. That means if you ask me the comparison between compiler and IDE, compiler, here we are going to write writing at one place and executing at one place, and output will be displayed in another place in compiler. Whereas in IDE, I can compile, I can execute, I can see output, I can do documentation, I can do everything in one place only. Is it okay? By using some sort of GUIs, by using some sort of things, everything will be done in a single screen. Is it okay? Hello? And which IDE will also give me the help. Whenever I need help for a function, IDE will not give any help for me. Whereas IDE will give me any help in getting the code to be done successfully. Is it okay? Can you please, is it okay for you? Yeah, thank you very much. Please. Now, can I continue where I am? Can you please respond where I am? Yeah, I'm discussing about the syllabus. Yes. Yeah. My syllabus. Yeah. Yeah. Any queries? Yeah, please.
Yeah. So this is an independent language. So what are the supporting tools or softwares required to get a job?
Not required.
So,
Your job can be done. You can write, you can do any kind of implementation with Python. Now, for example, if I want to go for IoT, then I will import that kind of libraries. If I want to go for ML, I will use a different kind of libraries. If I want to go for statistics, I will go for different kind of libraries, because it supports hundreds of libraries. For web, if I want to go for web development, I will use Flask and Django. Okay. So
okay,
in
like
order to
a
develop
non-IT,
application,
yeah. So a non-IT
yeah, please.
person to get a job by learning only Python. So for example, a non-IT person and just starting a career after a couple of years. Okay. In IT. So if you
Okay,
go with only Python, will it possible to get a job?
100%. Your institute itself is providing Python jobs to you within 2 months of this course. Institute is providing so many jobs. Okay, we are not only giving training, but also we are giving placements to you. Okay, now.
Okay,
Hello.
fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Now I have divided my syllabus into 4 parts. Okay. First of all, let me discuss about the basic programming. Every programming language consisting of what is a Python, IDE, identification of variables, conditions, loops. I will call the chapter numbers 8, 9, 10 up to here as a basic Python. Okay, now I will call this as basic Python. Then regular expressions working with the databases and exception handling, and I will call this as advanced Python. Then, and from chapter number 13, 14, 15, 17, this is called as object-oriented programming. Okay. Then chapter number 19, 20, 21, here I'm teaching a little bit about machine learning and data analysis parts. Okay, na? And finally, Matplotlib and Seaborn, they are used for data visualizations. Now, in order to cover I am covering three things. Okay, I'm covering core Python. This is mandatory. In core Python, every student must know the objectives such as a string object. If you are going to get if you get these three things: string, list, dictionary, and some sort of file operation. If you are good in these areas, you can develop any kind of applications. Okay. After this completion of core operations, we will be moved to advanced comprehensions, file operations, regular expressions, and working with databases. Now you can also go as a database operational expert. Then I will go for object-oriented programming. If you are getting jobs in object-oriented programming, I'm teaching 5 chapters in object-oriented programming. If you are interested to move to machine learning, there are libraries such as NumPy used for mathematical operations, and Pandas is used for data analysis, and scikit-learn is a machine learning library. I will teach 6 to 7 classes with scikit-learn library, the introduction to machine learning part. Is it okay? This is what the syllabus I wanted to cover for the next. Now, if you ask me a question, sir, how many days it will take to cover the syllabus? It will take around minimum 35 to 40 classes. Okay, 40 hours are the things. Now, any more questions? Can you please respond? Any more questions in the today's PPT? Hello, can you please respond? If there are no more questions, as of today, we are going to close the demo. Tomorrow, once again, we will meet in the same time, 6:30 to 7:30. Is it okay?